Hey you! Yes you! Are you looking for a brand new refreshing game to play? Interested in Kairosoft titles but not sure what to play next out of their extensive game library? Or looking to play your first title? Well, have I got some great news for you. In today's video, I will be talking about every single Kairosoft game that is currently released and rank them based off their store ratings, and my own personal tier list. Let's jump right in and learn about every Kairosoft game ever made and answer the question, which Kairosoft title is the best of them all? Kairosoft have been making games since 1996, initially creating Windows games launching exclusively on PC and Japanese. Kairosoft then started expanding to the global App Store market in 2010, with their first ever global release that started it all for many fans worldwide. I have covered the history of Kairosoft before in another video, so make sure to check that out after this one if you haven't already, but today I'm going to go through every single game currently released and rate them both on real fan ratings and my personal opinion at the end. Kairosoft have a massive catalogue of over 60 games currently available to play in English, 69 exactly as of this time of recording, so it can be a bit intimidating to decide what game to start with or play next. This video is intended to be the ultimate Kairosoft game compendium, so if you are new to Kairosoft or looking to pick up a new game that you haven't played yet, this will be the ultimate guide for finding your next game in your playlist. The games will be rated in chronological order based off their iOS release dates, starting all the way from the initial Game Dev Story App Store release in 2010 all the way to Cavern Adventurers released this year in 2024. I have compiled a massive list of all the major store ratings of each release, with rating stores combined from the iOS App Store, Android Google Play Store, and the Steam Store. After going through each title and completing the storefront rating tier list, I will then also provide my own changes for my very own Bow's Kairosoft tier list at the end. Make sure to stick around, it is going to be one hell of a ride. So make sure to get comfortable and grab your favorite snack and drink, as this will be the ultimate Kairosoft tier list video. Let's get this Kairosoft bonanza on the road. First and foremost, Game Dev Story. Game Dev Story, the one that started it all. Like many other fans, Game Dev Story was the first Kairosoft game I ever played, and was the introduction to Kairosoft as a whole for me and many others. I'll never forget the excitement I had playing through this entire game on my iPod Touch when I was just a young kid. The game was so addicting, it would always call for late night gaming sessions, staying up way later than I should just to try to get a better high score of selling my next hit video game title. I was so hooked on the game that I would look up the Japanese Kairopark website and see sneak peeks of the future Japanese titles, begging that hopefully one day they would get translated. And look how far we've come now, 69 English releases later. Game Dev Story has you manage a team of game developers as they scramble to produce the latest and best video game titles. You are able to manage the development team entirely by leveling up the individual staff members, hiring and firing the staff on the current project, and even force-feeding dangerously high levels of caffeinated Dead Bull energy drinks to ensure they never run out of energy after doing month-on-month development scrambles with no rest. Back to the drawing board, team. You can sleep once you make a more successful game than Minecraft. You know what? Maybe this game is still realistic for 2024 game developer standards. If they make a sequel, all they'll have to do to make the series modern is implement a new mass layoff feature for studios' employees even after they produce award-winning games. That's modern business, baby. This game introduced so many Kairosoft staples and signature features that act almost as a blueprint for the future games to come. Staff members have auras activate which give them a temporary boost of productivity. It introduces a whole bunch of unlockable secret characters like Kairobot and Chimpanzee, and you progressively expand and move to larger and larger studios to scale your game's production with your success. This title is extremely nostalgic for a good reason. It is one of the most popular and reviewed games of all time, with over 79,000 reviews on all three of the stores. It's extremely impressive considering that this is a reimagining of a game released in 1996 and their first ever title released internationally. How many game developers do you know where fans commonly think that the first ever game released is the best? That's like people saying that they like the original NES Super Mario Bros. Over titles such as Super Mario Odyssey or Mario Wonder. It's really remarkable the impact and legacy this title has had. Game Dev Story has an average combined store rating of 4.7, starting off the tier list strong and sitting comfortably in the S tier rank. Splashing into the second ever release is Hot Springs Story. This title has you in charge of managing a hot springs resort. This is the first Kairosoft title to introduce their now iconic layout management style of gameplay, with every single tile within the facility grounds being able to be customized. This allows you to remove, rebuild, and place both facility and environmental objects in any of these places, providing the freedom to build an entirely unique layout to your liking. This game also introduced the unique Kairosoft quirk of building combinations. When two buildings of a certain type are placed near each other, you get a combo bonus, providing additional buffs. There are a whole bunch of customers to discover and unlock by progressing through aspects of the game, and there are even boss-like challenger customers that come to assess your facility. This title paved the way for future Kairosoft games, offering a collectathon-like catalogue of combinations to uncover and discover, which provides a fantastic completionist goal to work through on your multiple playthroughs. Hot Springs Story has a comfortable 4.5 rating, placing it within the A tier in our list. Ringing into the third international release is Pocket Academy, Kairosoft's school management simulation title. In this game, you are in charge of both handling the physical layout and structure of the school grounds, alongside managing the academics of the school children and the teacher staff fleet. This title offers a massive increase in content with the addition of gameplay elements centered around the school children and various events they run into throughout their schooling journey. Most notably is the introduction of relationships. This offers a much welcome variety in each playthrough and even day. In general, there is a large amount of dialogue and interaction between the students themselves and all the facilities present to them. This game offers a large amount to uncover, so there is no surprise that the game scores high with an average 4.4 rating, placing it in the A tier position in our list alongside Hot Springs Story. Stacking in as the fourth ever release is Mega Mall Story, the ultimate mall managing experience. This title offers a unique perspective change for the game so far, with the gameplay being centered around a 2D oriented camera as you work to expand your dream mall vertically. This title has a large variety of shops to uncover and place as you move through your playthrough. One of the most unique aspects of Mega Mall Story is the limit of space available to place all of your stores. This means you will have to be efficient and compact with your combination building to utilize the restricted space. This title also introduces a new feature of faster movement speeds for your customers, such as escalators and lifts, maximizing their shopping spree at the mall. You can also stuff as many sales as an EB Games store window in this title, allowing you to attract huge crowds of customers during sale season. Mega Mall Story is a great game that introduced a new unique 2D gameplay perspective, which is also used in later titles, and it comes in with a rating of 4.4 stars, placing it in the A tier. Zooming into the fifth ever release is Grand Prix Story, the first game by Kairosoft with a focus on a sporting theme. Grand Prix Story places you in the cockpit of managing an upcoming racing team. In this title, you will not only manage the crew fleet by leveling them up and assigning new members, but also customizing and designing your very own dream car to be used in the racing aspects of the game. This is the first Kairosoft sports title, which introduces a now iconic game day mechanic where you actually spectate the races happening in real time, cheering along your favorite employees tearing up the racetrack. Woo! Go Polypan! There are a whole bunch of tracks to race on as you make your way up to competing in the Grand Prix, a multiple day race over multiple tracks. This game created a template for future Kairosoft sports titles. With a rating of 4.5 stars, it finishes in the A tier, deservingly so. Kairosoft turned back the pages of history for their sixth ever release with Edo Towns, the Edo era village management sim. Edo Towns offers a unique historical insight into what Japan was like within the Edo era, allowing you to fully customize the layout and facilities for all the residents to use. This is the first Kairosoft title to be set in a historic Japanese time frame, and it isn't the last. The newest Kairosoft game release, currently only in Japanese in 2024, also follows this premise in a different era, so it's safe to say this game definitely had a lasting impact on Kairosoft and their fans. This title provides a fantastic historical insight into facilities and interesting everyday life of Edo-era Japan, and it lands into the A tier with a score of 4.3. Just before I jump into the 7th game, can we take a moment to appreciate just how amazing the initial lineup of Kairosoft games are? The first 6 games they ever released internationally all scored at least A tier or higher with a rating of 4.3 stars, even with modern reviews. This just goes to show how timeless Kairosoft's game design is. Rising into the 7th international release is Venture Towns, Kairosoft's first city building ambitious game. Venture Towns is a game jam-packed with so many features. You are able to design the layout of the city, customize the residents' job preferences and their dream aspirations, and even get the residents their own pets. This game has a big focus on uncovering combinations to unlock as many occupations as possible, ranging from a humble freelancer all the way to a sniper? Mr. Obama, get down! That's quite an occupation choice. It's interesting that's your dream job. Imagine a city full of entirely snipers, the ultimate defensive metropolis. Just don't expect to get many visitors. You also eventually unlock the choice of upgrading movement speed, similar to Mega Mall's story. Your residents can even fly in style to the nearest park just using a helicopter. Sorry I'm late, Ron. You would not believe the day I am having as a professional sniper. I really need to blow off some steam in this park after I just blew off someone's head. Edo Towns is a great city building experience, and it stacks up to the first B tier entry with a score of 4. Scoring the number 8 spot in the international releases is Pocket League Story. In this game you are put into the soccer boots of managing your very own soccer team. This game offers a significant upgrade of the sports gameplay aspect in comparison to the previous sporting title Grand Prix Story. Compared to Grand Prix Story, where you mainly can only watch the race, in Pocket League Story you are able to adjust the team positioning, apply auras for a boost mid-game in real time, and overall have a lot more interaction in the actual soccer game day events. This is without even mentioning just how fun it is to spectate your team getting a satisfying win over a team you have been struggling with for so long. I'm looking at you, Pastafarians. Pocket League Story is a great pick as an easily accessible sports simulation game, particularly appealing to soccer fans, and it shoots for the goal in B tier with a score of 4.2. Abducting the number 9 spot is Epic Astro Story. Epic Astro Story is a bit different to all of the titles we have seen so far, with a heavy focus on RPG elements. In this game, you colonize an alien planet and manage the layout of it to your liking, similar to previous titles, but this offers a unique RPG spin. You will have to partake in various battles against alien colonies as you go on expeditions. When battling, you will send out a team to take down the alien colonies and emerge victorious. Epic Astro Story is the first of many Kairosoft RPG games, and it paves the way for a lot of the RPG mechanics to come in later titles, still seen to this very day. Epic Astro Story is a simple but charming game that lands into B tier with a rating of 4.2. Following Epic Astro Story's RPG origins, rating the 10th ever international release is Dungeon Village, Kairosoft's epic village building RPG title. Dungeon Village is an expansion of the RPG mechanics introduced in Epic Astro Story. In this game you both manage the development of your own medieval village, along with exploring the wilderness and battling monsters that you encounter. This game has you focus on upgrading the weapons, armor, and magic of your citizens, which are then sent on quests to vanquish monsters in the overworld. Instead of the combat being displayed in a small pop-up box, in this game you actually venture out to the expansive fields to fight mobs of monsters to take down. Dungeon Village is a great expansion on Kairosoft's RPG mechanics and climbs into the A tier with a rating of 4.5. After 2 epic RPG themed releases back to back, the next title cooking into the 11th ever international release is Cafeteria Nipponica. This release is Kairosoft's first of many food dedicated titles, with the focus of this title being on producing hit meals and dishes for your very own cafeteria. Within the walls of the kitchen, you will be in charge of managing both the chef's line and the waitresses in the shop. You are able to discover and unlock brand new recipes to add to your menu, alongside discovering brand new ingredients. This title introduces the now iconic negotiation minigame and is a staple in Kairosoft's library for inspiring a whole bunch of future food-themed Kairosoft games. Cafeteria Nipponica offers a whole variety of features to sink your teeth into, placing it into the A tier rank with a rating of 4.5. Hanging out in the 12th ever release is Pocket Clothier, Kairosoft's very own clothing store management simulation. In this title, you are able to place shelves and clothing racks into the layout of your store, and then stock them with your very own choice of fashionable items. This game encapsulates one of the things I love most about Kairosoft, and that is there is a huge variety of games centered around so many niche categories. Pocket Clothier has a huge variety of clothes to uncover, all containing their own attributes such as casual, luxury, glamour, and chic. Very suave, Kairosoft, allowing you to customize your store to your heart's desire. Pocket Clothier provides a refined designer experience, swinging into the clothes rack with a rating of 4.3 stars, placing it in the A tier. Roaming into the 13th Kairosoft release is Beastie Bay, Kairosoft's first ever free-to-play title. Beastie Bay is an epic RPG adventure, placing you on a deserted island to expand and explore new areas to fight new enemies. Beastie Bay introduced a slightly more detailed battle system, offering Pokemon-styled battles when encountering enemies. The amount of content in Beastie Bay is truly fantastic. There is such a large variety of enemies to uncover and collect, and a vast region to explore and fight new foes. Kairosoft received major backlash from its fans regarding later free-to-play titles containing ads and in-app purchases, but they recently acknowledged this and now offer older free-to-play titles as DX paid versions on all platforms now for the best experience. Despite Beastie Bay originally being the first free-to-play titles, fans consider it one of the best games ever developed by Kairosoft thanks to its expansive monster catalogue, upgraded battle mechanics, and overall great game design. For this video, in the datasheet compiled, any game offering a DX version will be used as the Steam ratings, as the original free versions were never ported to modern consoles. Beastie Bay slashes into the A tier with a rating of 4.3. Plating up the 14th Kairosoft release is the Sushi Spinnery, Kairosoft's second food theme release, this time centered around making your very own sushi train. The Sushi Spinnery offers a unique spin on the food genre by having you customize and lay out the path of the sushi train to your liking. This leads to being able to create really unique customized store layouts, placing scenery and facilities around the sushi line. I also just love watching all the dishes be plated up and spun around on the tracks in this one. It's certainly one of the most dynamic games. You are also able to enter contests to show off your very own sushi dishes to a panel of critics, and also add ingredients to your dishes to enhance their stats. The Sushi Spinnery rolls into the A tier with a score of 4.4. Dreamhouse Days moves into the 15th spot of Kairosoft releases. In this title, you are the head architect of a residential estate, customizing and adjusting the layout of the building. This game has a large focus on the residents themselves, similar to Pocket Academy does with its students. There are a whole bunch of features centered around the house residents. This title introduces new features such as couples being able to live together, get married, and even have kids together who then grow up, alongside other aspects we have seen before such as assigning pets and managing their dream careers. You are able to deck out each of the tenants' house with a huge variety of interior decorations, allowing you to customize each resident's room to be their very own. Dreamhouse Days is a highly regarded Kairosoft title, climbing all the way to the S tier rank with a rating of 4.6. Galloping into the 16th position is Pocket Stables, the horse management simulation title. Pocket Stables is a unique mix of both a sports title and a layout management title, putting you into the jockey's boots racing horses on the field, while also customizing the stable layout and design. The unique mix of both a layout management title and a sports title sets this game apart from previous entries, while also offering a whole host of new features centered around the horses, such as training them, breeding mechanics, and enhancing their stats using pedigrees. The race day sequences are thrilling, similar to Grand Prix story, and will have you gunning for winning top place in your races with your favourite steed. Pocket Stables prances into the S tier rank with a rating of 4.6. Stealthily sneaking into the 17th position is Ninja Village, Kairosoft's second village building simulation centered around a historical period in Japan. Finally, I want to be ninja in this game. Ninja Village is set in the Sengoku period of feudal Japan, taking place significantly earlier than the previous Edo Towns title. Ninja Village expands the previous Edo Towns gameplay by offering more features revolving around combat, defending your village, alongside building and customizing the village layout from the ground up. In this title, you will train your villagers for combat to overthrow nearby districts, and best their defending clans in fierce battle. Ninja Village shuffles into the A tier ranking with a score rating of 4.4. World Cruise Story sails in as Kairosoft's 18th international release. In this title, you need a captain's hat to design your very own luxury ship. This title is focused primarily around customizing the layout of your yacht, in a similar fashion to Hot Springs Story, attracting guests from across the world to board and sail on your ship. World Cruise Story focuses on providing your guests with luxury facilities and suites, so you can expect to find many combinations and unique visitors while sailing the oceans. As you gain rapport with your guests, you will be introduced to new countries, allowing new visitors to board and cruise with you. World Cruise Story navigates into the B tier with a rating of 4. Shooting into the 19th Kairosoft release is Pocket Harvest, Kairosoft's first farm simulation experience. Pocket Harvest is centered all around designing your very own farm and producing a variety of vegetable crops. Pocket Harvest provides a much more relaxed atmosphere with less aspects to worry about than a typical Kairosoft game, focusing primarily on just the layout of the facility and the employees. You are able to upgrade your crops and enter them into local fairs to be judged, and there's a whole bunch of crops to uncover as you progress through the game. Pocket Harvest grows up to the B tier with a score of 4. Kairosoft's next 20th release is a much more different experience than we have seen yet, as it is Kairosoft's first take on weaving a unique experience based off of their own game characters, Kairobot specifically in this title, Kairobotica. Kairobotica is similar in premise to the earlier epic Astro story, but in this title you are tasked with building an army of Kairobots to vanquish the evil Wario-bot. I really like that this title attempts to expand on the Kairosoft characters and their lore. This title is very unique in this sense, and there is so much potential for Kairosoft making unique games based off of its charming array of colourful characters. I'm still waiting for the chimpanzee exclusive title. I would love to see new entries like this in the future. Kairobotica blasts into the B tier with a score of 4.2. Stacking into the 21st release is another game based off an earlier title but with a new spin, the Pyraplex. The Pyraplex is a pyramid constructing simulator where you are tasked with overseeing the building of a colossal pyramid. There are a bunch of structures and facilities to place within the pyramid as it expands, and you can even trade with other countries to uncover new items. You will eventually work on developing a bustling bazaar as residents come to trade and purchase items. This title is a different imagining to the gameplay of Mega Mall Story with a historic twist. It would be great to see Kairosoft expand more into the historical games, similar to what they've done with the Edo Towns and this title. The Pyraplex towers into the A tier with a score of 4.3. Slotting into the 22nd release is Magazine Mogul, the Kairosoft game about selling the hottest press to the public. In this title you develop your very own magazine issues while managing and leveling up your staff to maximize profits. This title plays very similar to Game Dev's Story, so if you enjoyed that title and its gameplay, you will likely enjoy this one too, as it's a similar experience with some extra features thrown in, such as being able to plan strategic meetings. Magazine Mogul stacks up to the A tier with a score of 4.4. Profiling into the 23rd release is Biz Builder Delux, Kairosoft's signature business building game. Biz Builder Delux has you in charge of running not only one store, but multiple expandable stores to create an entire business empire. This is the first game title to introduce the idea of owning more than one store and location to manage simultaneously, which in turn introduces a lot of interesting mechanics to help with managing more than one location at once. Biz Builder Delux gives you the option to theme your stores to a certain niche such as boutiques or game stores, while competing with newer rival stores that will pop up and attempt to steal your loyal customers. I like to imagine how funny it would be if business owners and rivals in real life just left it up to a brief minigame to determine which business is permanently allowed to continue to operate. Oh well, Jim, sorry mate, you lost rock, paper, scissors. You know the rules. Cease your business production immediately. Biz Builder Delux sells out to the A tier with a score of 4.4. Casting their line into the 24th release is Fish Pond Park. Fish Pond Park has you calling the shots at a tourist office, with the primary goal of luring in new customers to visit your facility. Initially, you will start with a barren landscape and are tasked with adding in new nature-based facilities and also adding in hotels and inns for guests to stay at. One of the primary focuses of the game is the fishing minigame, where you're able to lure in your hook into your own fishing ponds in pursuit of catching the ultimate prize catch. Fish Pond Park was actually one of the first ever Japanese Docomo titles released, which is shown in the game's style using an older font and generally older game mechanics. Fish Pond Park reeled in a not so amazing 3.6 stars on average, making it the first game to land in the D tier of games. Serving up the 25th release is the Ramen Sensei, Kairosoft's next entry into their food theme lineup of games. The Ramen Sensei has you managing the usual aspects of kitchen, handling both the kitchen and waiter staff, but ramps up the customization significantly in this title for the food creation process. In this title, you are able to develop both the ramen broth and the noodles with unique ingredients to produce fully customized dishes, including making the ramen noodles from scratch, That's the one thing I love about Kairosoft's food titles in particular. Despite there being a large variety of them, they all individually have their own unique features based off of preparing the food dish featured in the games with their own mechanics. It's fantastic. The Ramen Sensei serves up a solid 4.1 star average rating, placing it in the B tier in our list. Scheduled into the 26th international release spot is Anime Studio Story. Ever wanted to live out your dreams of making your own anime show? Well, now you can in Anime Studio Story. This game has you develop an anime show all the way from scratch, with the scripting and development phase all the way to the screening and reward ceremonies. This game is similar to Game Dev Story's development cycle gameplay, but with a host of anime-themed features to make it stand out from previous titles. The aspect that makes this game really unique is being able to completely create and customize the main character and hero of your story from scratch, selecting their head and body design to create a completely modifiable experience. Anime Studio Story debuts with a solid 3.9 stars, placing it as the first entry in the C tier. Serving up the 27th international release is Tennis Club Story. In Kairosoft's next sports-themed release, you are in charge of managing your own tennis club, training, and raising the next tennis superstar. You are tasked with climbing the ranks of the tennis tournaments to eventually take home the Grand Slam trophy. Similar to previous sports games, Tennis Club Story offers a real-time tennis minigame element, which I'm glad to see is unique compared to the previous sports titles. It's a blast to see the tennis games take place, and it's a real fine addition that they included both single and double matches to provide a surprisingly authentic tennis experience. Work through training your players, preparing special lessons, and also hosting barbecue tournaments? What is your barbecue ELO scrub? I'm Steak Chef Master! This game is another solid entry into the sports series and aces a 4.0 rating, placing it in the B tier rank. Rising up to the 28th international release is Bonbon Cakery. Bonbon Cakery is another Kairosoft free-to-play game, meaning there is no upfront cost for downloading it, but it contains in-app purchases and ads. Bonbon Cakery is one of the last free-to-play titles that currently haven't received a modern DX update, but I'm sure that's due to change soon with how popular this title is. In this pastry shop management simulation, you are able to develop and concoct a whole variety of tasty sweets to outsell your competition. There are just so many desserts to unlock, it really is impressive just how many recipes are able to be uncovered, allowing you to create a huge catalogue of your favourite desserts to sell. Bonbon Cakery bakes up an impressive 4.4 stars and launches into the A tier rank. Sailing into the 29th release is High Sea Saga, Kairosoft's next ambitious sea sailing RPG entry. High Sea Saga has a large focus on pirating and exploring the ocean to uncover new continents and secret areas. In this game, you will train up an unbeatable team of both human pirates and monsters as you clash with enemy clans and ships when exploring the overworld. You can also cultivate your very own monster farm, hatching monster eggs that you uncovered in your journeys. One of my favourite aspects of this game is that the monsters will also do your grunt work for you alongside the humans. There's just something so funny about seeing these huge terrifying abominations casually singing stock refill while doing their chores. High Sea Saga is an ambitious RPG title that ventures to the B tier with a rating of 4.1. Kicking off the 30th release is the first ever Kairosoft sequel that was ever released internationally, Pocket League Story 2. It's great to see Kairosoft develop and expand fan favourites in their game lineup, and what a better title to start with than Pocket League Story getting a sequel. For all the sequel entries in this list, I won't spend as much time detailing the sequels as they are very similar to their first games with additional features. With this sequel adding in new features like fouls, slides, free kicks, and challenge bonus requirements that need to be met to advance in the matches. This is a good way to add new content to the game, but I will quickly note that the title was released as a free-to-play unlike its original. Pocket League Story 2 scores a 4.1 star rating, placing it into the B tier. Soaring into the 31st release is Skyforce Unite. This currently mobile exclusive title provides a unique Air Force management title mixed with RPG elements. It certainly has a very unique premise. In this game, you are able to unlock and discover a huge arsenal of fighter planes, which you can use to complete missions for the Hunters Association. The game also attempts to add in new depth to the RPG battle mechanics by incorporating playing cards, which, when combined with your pilot's unique individual skill set, results in some very unique aerial battles. Despite this game being a free-to-play title, it is actually one of the highest ranked Kairosoft games by fans, gliding into the S tier with a rating of 4.6. Pulling up into the 32nd release is Station Manager. Station Manager is a game focused on managing multiple train stations and facilities across the land. Similar to Biz Builder Delux, this title introduces the concept of managing more than one location at a time. But in this title, you can only focus your attention on one specific area at once. The other stations will continue to operate on their own, but just produce less profit. A unique mechanic of this game is managing multiple floors of the station, similar to Mega Mall's story, but for the first time in a 3D layout game, providing a very dynamic and immersive experience. I would love to see upcoming Kairosoft titles develop this idea further, such as my suggestion that I went over for my top wanted ideas for a hotel game that utilizes a feature similar to this. You are also in charge of adding facilities to the train station to customize it, completing missions, as well as editing the actual types of trains themselves. Station Manager departs into the B tier with a rating of 4. Booting up into the 33rd release is Pocket Arcade Story. Pocket Arcade Story is another store management simulation game with the focus on collecting various arcade machines that you can use to expand your very own arcade parlor. Customers will compete for high scores on their favorite machines, and you can even develop and unlock new games for them to play. There are also fighting game tournaments that are hosted on your very own machines, with you being able to actually interact with the machine's button inputs to affect the outcome of the fight. Pocket Arcade Story levels up into the D tier with a score of 3.4. Defending the 34th release is The Legends of Heropolis. Legends of Heropolis is another more unique free-to-play Kairosoft game with a completely unique premise themed around superheroes. This title mashes up both the traditional town-building Kairosoft mechanics similar to Venture Towns with an RPG spin. You are in charge of developing a town for your team of heroes who are tasked with taking down the villainous Evil Corp. Legends of Heropolis is clear with its Super Sentai and Power Rangers inspirations, allowing you to build the superhero team of your dreams. The RPG battle system implemented is again relatively unique in this title compared to others, offering powerful unity attacks and other mechanics like health instead of just attacking. This title introduces a multiplayer mechanic where you can actually add other players' friend codes. Legends of Heropolis saves the day with a 4.1 star rating, flying into the B tier rank. If you have reached this point in this video, I just want to say thank you sincerely for actually watching through this entire video and supporting the channel. This is roughly the halfway point through the video as we are up to release 35 out of 69. I appreciate the support so much on more unique videos and projects such as this one. If you are not already, please consider subscribing and liking the video as only 14% of viewers are subscribed. Thanks for being a true Wow It's Bow fan. Now, let's go back to our ranking. Publishing at the 35th position is the Manga Works. Kairosoft have previously made an anime studio themed game, so it was only natural that a manga themed game was due to drop in the future. The Manga Works has you penning the next big manga smash hit, from developing the draft in-house with mangakas, all the way to pitching the idea to manga studios. Something unique about this game is the styling of this title is actually similar to the design of Dreamhouse Days, mixed with the gameplay of Game Dev's Story. Initially, you'll start as an independent artist that even gets inspirations and ideas from their dreams, all the way to working in a large team, publishing multiple issues of your hit series. The Manga Works sketches a 3.9 rating, coincidentally, which is the exact same as the anime studio game, placing it in C tier. Stampeding into the 36th release is March to a Million, the ultimate pop star management game. In this title, you are the big boss of a music talent agency, overseeing the production of hit records and recruiting the next sensation artist. You are able to train your artists, perform auditions, and even record their new singles to publish. Initially, you will start with a single singer, but eventually you will scout out a new talent and even recruit enough members to start a live concert with your own band. March to a Million performs with a 3.6 rating, placing it into the D tier category. Cultivating the 37th release spot is 8-Bit Farm. 8-Bit Farm is Kairosoft's attempt at making a cozy farm simulation game, with a focus on expanding your farm with flowers, vegetable crops, fruit crops, and livestock to attract new visitors to the farm. At initial first glance, this title may seem a bit similar to the earlier mentioned Pocket Harvest, but the main differences lie within the gameplay styles of the two titles, with Pocket Harvest focusing on only growing crops, and 8-Bit Farm relying on attracting visitors to your farm by adding features like livestock pens and flower beds. Both play in their own unique different ways, with Pocket Harvest having a more traditional Kairosoft gameplay feel, and 8-Bit Farm offering a different experience based around attracting visitors rather than just harvesting crops. 8-bit farm grows into the D tier with a rating of 3.4. Enchanting the 38th release spot is Magician Saga, Kairosoft's first game themed entirely around magic spells and magicians. Magician Saga introduces a relatively new art style for the Kairosoft series, similar to the recently released Cavern Adventurers, and introduces interesting RPG gameplay mechanics. Your objective in this title is to build a town from scratch, as it has been overridden and raided by monster hordes. To assist with all the battles, this action game incorporates a large amount of equipment and allies that you can recruit to add to your team, unique spellcasting battling mechanics, and also a whole bunch of monsters to bring down. Magician Saga casts into the A tier with a rating of 4.3. Sliding into the 39th release is Shiny Ski Resort. Shiny Ski Resort tasks you with building and customizing your very own skiing facility center, attracting new customers and having them stay at your ski lodges. This game provides a very classic Kairosoft game feel, focused mainly on discovering and laying down new facilities on the ski track, and also introducing a really awesome new mechanic of placing a large spanning ski lift throughout the resort to fast track customers to the top of the slopes. You are also able to compete in skiing competitions to dash for first place within a unique Grand Prix-esque style minigame, where you have to balance your stamina to get the edge over your opponents. You are able to expand the ski lodges with plenty of new facilities to give your customers the best possible experience between shredding the slopes. Shiny Ski Resort skis into the A tier with a rating of 4.3. Striking into the 40th release is Home Run High, Kairosoft's next entry in their sporting series based on everything baseball. Home Run High places you in charge of recruiting and coaching your very own baseball team, all the way from the local game to the big leagues. Home Run High allows you to perform a lot of customization on the facility layout, which isn't as often seen in the Kairosoft sports series of games, allowing you to customize the school in 4 areas: study, sports, fun, and nature, which in turn benefits the team overall as they train for the next big matches. This title also introduces a really neat mechanic for the playback of baseball games themselves. You have the option of either watching the games live, which has been tradition for the Kairosoft sports games so far, or just watching the highlights of the match to save time. Great addition. Home Run High swings for the cages, landing in B tier with a score of 4.2. Racing into the 41st position is another sequel to an earlier fan favourite game, Grand Prix Story 2. Similar to the previous prequel Pocket League Story 2, Grand Prix Story 2 is a free-to-play title that expands on the original game with some new features while adjusting the gameplay for a free-to-play styled game. Grand Prix Story 2 introduces a bunch of new global world tracks, a huge variety of new car parts and vehicles, and even online racing multiplayer features. Grand Prix Story finishes in the A tier with a score of 4.4. Constructing the 42nd position is Dreamtown Story. Dreamtown Story is the next iteration into the Dream series following Dreamhouse Days, acting as a newer free-to-play version of Venture Towns with Dreamhouse Days features. In this title, you will be able to compete with rival towns, expand the area of your town to place and discover new facilities, and also fulfill the dream jobs of residents. Dreamtown Story is one of the highest rated free-to-play games due to its huge amount of features and accessibility for anyone to play. Dreamtown Story builds into the A tier with a rating of 4.5. Plating up the 43rd entry is another sequel to a fan favourite game, this time being the first food-related sequel with the entry The Ramen Sensei 2. The Ramen Sensei 2 follows the same format of the previous sporting sequels that we have already seen, offering a free-to-play version with expanded features over the original title. The main features included aim to add in more variation and difficulty to the gameplay, with new Ramen Odyssey features and challenges. The Ramen Sensei 2 serves up a solid 4.5 rating, placing it in the A tier. Uncaging the 44th release, we have Wild Park Manager, Kairosoft's first game dedicated to starring animals as the primary gameplay feature. In this title, you're in charge of customizing your very own wildlife park with animal pens, playgrounds, and other features such as fishing ponds and food courts for customers to interact with. This game also features various other challenges to complete alongside building your facility, such as fishing competitions and hatching baby animals to live in the park. Wild Park Manager swings into the C tier with a score of 3.8. Splashing into the 45th release is Pool Slide Story. In this title, you are able to create the water park of your dreams, customizing huge swimming pools and slides for your customers to enjoy. This game offers a huge host of customization around the facilities, such as being able to construct giant slides that span over multiple tiles that you can place to your liking, and also adding ingredients into the pool's water to customize the smell, fragrance, and color of the pools to provide additional buffs. This game also features an in-depth cooking mechanic for all of the stores that you are able to place in the pool park, allowing you to uncover new recipes and items for your use in the shops and pools. Poolslide Story slips into the A tier with a rating of 4.5. Slashing discounts in the 46th release is Thrift Store Story. Thrift Store Story is the next entry in Kairosoft's line of themed shopping store titles, with this title focusing on selling pre-owned products and returned goods. In this title, you oversee the management of staff, displays, and selling the pre-owned items of your choice, opening multiple stores across the towns to expand your business to new heights. Thrift Store Story unfortunately lands as the first entry in the E tier with a rating of 2.8. Adventuring into the 47th release is Quest Town Saga. Quest Town Saga is the next RPG entry from Kairosoft, following the story of your character embarking on an epic adventure journey while also developing your own town. This game offers the ability to choose a unique class for your own character, with the selections ranging from warrior, pirate, thief, knight, wizard, cleric, and monster tamer. In your adventures, you will come across plenty of enemies and boss fights as you explore the lands. Quest Town Saga journeys into the D tier with a rating of 3.5. Chiming into the 48th release spot is Pocket Academy Zero. Pocket Academy Zero is a unique title. Unlike the previous free-to-play games such as Pocket League Story 2 and Grand Prix Story 2 being slated as full sequels, Pocket Academy Zero is a predecessor of the original Pocket Academy. The timeline of the Pocket Academy series is a bit strange in the English releases. The original Pocket Academy was actually the translated version of the prestigious Pocket Academy 2, which is why this release was given the title of Zero in English. Despite being a free-to-play title, it does not contain any in-app purchases, which is a massive sign of change for the future of Kairosoft games no longer having in-app purchases. Pocket Academy Zero is a stripped-down version of the original game designed to give players a feel for the game before purchasing the full version. This game also has one of the largest port delay gaps to English out of any release, releasing 8 years later from the original Japanese timeline. Pocket Academy Zero rushes into the C tier during recess with a score of 3.9. Evolving into the 49th release is Social Dev Story. Social Dev Story is an interesting title as it is often considered to be the sequel of the original game dev story, expanding the original game's mechanics with new features. Social Dev Story is a free-to-play game with in-app purchases similar to other sequels such as Pocket League Story 2. This title offers new platforms and hardware to sell your games on, idea combinations, and development strategies for the game's release cycle. Social Dev Story develops a rating of 4.3, landing it in the A tier. Premiering into the 50th release is Silver Screen Story. Silver Screen Story places you in the director's shoes, producing your own blockbuster movies and managing your own movie filming studio. The primary feature of this game is producing your own films. You'll be able to cherry pick your favorite actors to have them appear on the screen, develop and enhance the movie script, and then roll out the red carpet for an exclusive live preview screening of your hit in the cinemas in front of a live audience. One unique feature of this game is the perspective being 2D, similar to Mega Mall Story. You'll manage staff and expand your studio in a similar fashion to Mega Mall Story vertically. Silver Screen Story rolls out the red carpet in A tier with a rating of 4.4. Expediting into the 51st release is Kingdom Adventurers. Kingdom Adventurers is Kairosoft's next RPG adventure entry and the last free-to-play title with in-app purchases offered by the company. In this game, you are in charge of developing an upcoming medieval town by building new shops and facilities, farming precious resources like copper and silver, and developing new equipment for your town's citizens. This title incorporates an RPG battle system where you defend your kingdom from hordes of evil monsters. Kingdom Adventurers trudges into the A tier with a score of 4.5. Elevating into the 52nd release is Mega Mall Story 2. Mega Mall Story 2 marks a historic change for Kairosoft from this release onwards. This is the first sequel game to incorporate new features and not be based on a freemium model. Kairosoft received a lot of fan backlash over the use of in-app purchases in their games, and it seems that the fan outcry was received and heard in this title, as no free-to-play games were developed after this point. Mega Mall Story 2 offers an expanded experience over the original title, offering new updated graphics, a huge expansion of stores and items, larger store types, and a larger expansive mall size. Mega Mall Story 2 escalates into the A tier with a 4.5 rating. Bouncing into the 53rd release is Basketball Club Story. Basketball Club Story is the next entry in the sporting series. In this game you develop your basketball team and coach them all the way to winning the big leagues. In this game you will draft your very own dream league, running specialized training for your players and assigning specific skills to your players. Your team will then compete in various kinds of basketball competitions, round robin style league matches, knockout style tournaments, and even special one-off games. As you progress throughout the game, you will expand your facilities by adding in new amenities, stores, and special buildings for your team to use and enhance their stats. Basketball Club Story dunks into the A tier with a rating of 4.3. Dipping into the 54th release is Hot Springs Story 2. Hot Springs Story 2 is the next enhanced sequel in Kairosoft's game lineup, taking on board the changes made in Mega Mall Story 2, offering a paid sequel with new features, as opposed to a free-to-play title, cementing the trend of future sequels being paid games with no in-app purchases. Hot Springs Story 2 enhances the original game by adding in new facilities, more customer types to discover, brand new bath types, and even investing into local nearby businesses such as amusement parks and ski slopes. Hot Springs Story 2 dips into the A tier with a rating of 4.5. Pressing into the 55th release is Boxing Gym Story, Kairosoft's most recent sporting release. In this game you will manage your very own amateur athlete all the way to boxing stardom. You will embark on Rocky Balboa style trained regiments, hire and manage an elite team of trainers, and develop a facility stronghold to master your fighting skills. Boxing Gym Story takes a similar page out of Silver Screen Story and the Mega Mall Story releases by having you develop your training facility in a 2D perspective. In order to overcome your opponents in the ring and best them and get the champion belt you deserve, you'll have to carefully prepare and develop your fighter's stats. Boxing Gym Story rises into the B tier rank with a score of 4.1. Questing into the 56th release is Dungeon Village 2. Dungeon Village 2 is the first sequel in Kairosoft's RPG catalogue of games, adding an epic expansion of features to the original Dungeon Village game. Dungeon Village 2 adds in new monsters to recruit, epic new fights to encounter, a huge variety of town buildings and upgrades, and 7 massive maps to explore and conquer. In this game, you can both watch an automated expedition of fights that plays out in real time in a small segment of the screen as we've seen in other titles, alongside larger monster hunting quests that play out in large fields. One of the largest aspects of this game revolves around using the cauldron, which can be used to convert items into 4 primary essences: fire, lightning, ice, and dark. These are used for upgrading equipment and buildings throughout the game. Dungeon Village 2 journeys into the S tier with an impressive ranking of 4.7. Cooking up the 57th release is Burger Bistro Story. Burger Bistro Story is Kairosoft's most recent food simulation game themed around all things burgers and fast food. In this title, you will design the layout of your diner and create smash hit burger recipes to draw in crowds of new customers. Similar to the previous food-themed titles that we have seen already, this game incorporates game mechanics for the signature food cuisine, allowing you to fully customize your burger ingredients to create your own Frankenstein burger creations. But the menu doesn't just stop at burgers, as you are able to set your own menu with side dishes, drinks, and even desserts for the ultimate diner experience. Burger Bistro Story slides up into the S tier with a solid 4.7 rating. Camping in the 58th release is Forest Camp Story. Forest Camp Story puts you in charge of creating your very own camping business, attracting new customers to camp out in the newest outdoor paradise sensation. Set up campsites situated in scenic outdoor locations for your customers to camp in, while adding new facilities like bug habitats to keep your guests entertained and attract wildlife like rabbits to the campsite. Eventually, you will be able to invest in a campsite store, allowing customers to get all their camp supplies and resources all located conveniently within your campsite. They will never need to leave the dream oasis you have set up for them. There's no escape on Bao's Forest Camp Ride. Forest Camp Story hikes into the S tier with a rating of 4.6. Riding into the 59th release is Dream Park Story. Dream Park Story allows you to become the architect of your own dream park, setting up rides and amusement park facilities for the ultimate day out. Ever wanted to create your own custom Disneyland? Well, now you can. This game allows you to set up massive expansive roller coasters, Ferris wheels, and teapot rides and food court stores for customers to grab a snack between their next thrilling ride. As you progress through the game, you'll be able to host parades to attract new visitors and even negotiate with mascots to unlock new special themed areas. Dream Park Story rotates into the S tier ranking with a rating of 4.6. Teeing off the 60th release is Forest Golf Planner. Forest Golf Planner is a unique title which combines two of its popular genres similar to Shiny Ski Resort, adding a sports theme with the golfing mechanics and also detailed layout customization gameplay designing all of the golf holes. This insanely customizable game allows you to define both the tee-off spots and the flag for each golf hole, with the ability to pepper in hazards, stage props, and other nature elements to customize every individual hole for a one-of-a-kind golfing experience. Alongside the golf hole customization, you are also in charge of managing the staff and layout of the golf clubhouse to equip your customers with the latest golfing gear. After advancing through the game, you will be approached to host tournaments, increase the course difficulty to improve the skills of the golfers, and even provide golfing lessons. Forest Golf Planner swings for a hole-in-one in the A tier with a score of 4.4. Purchasing the 61st release is Convenience Stories. Convenience Stories is Kairosoft's most recent shopping store themed game, allowing you to manage a supermarket chain. Convenience Stories allows you to set up the largest array of shopping products seen in a Kairosoft game so far, ranging from sweets, magazines, drinks, and meals. You are able to completely swap out and adjust the stocks and products displayed on every shelf, allowing you the possibility to create custom themed stores and chain businesses. To discover new ingredients and products, you will need to negotiate with other companies, eventually expanding to the point of opening 24-hour stores. Convenience Stories buys into the S tier with a bargain 4.6 rating. Vacating the 62nd release is Tropical Resort Story. Tropical Resort Story places you on a remote island, setting up a tourist dream island getaway from scratch. You will initially start out with a small lodging supporting only a couple of guest visitors, but in no time you'll expand to a bustling tourist destination with a whole bunch of attractions bringing in visitors far and wide. One of the signature quirks and unique features of this title is the ability to unlock a catalogue of exotic animals that will visit your island depending on the scenery that you place around the resort. Uncovering and discovering all of the hidden animals is a unique delight in this game. Tropical Resort Story breezes into the S tier with an exotic 4.7 score. Assessing the 63rd release is Pocket Academy 3. Pocket Academy 3 is the sequel to Pocket Academy. If you're confused about the naming convention, it is due to the first Pocket Academy being a port of Pocket Academy 2, with Pocket Academy 0 being the predecessor, which actually means this is the very first Kairosoft game with 3 entries. Pocket Academy 3 takes all of the features we know and love from the original Pocket Academy game and heightens almost every single aspect with new features and enhancements. There are brand new yearly events, school fairs where your classmates compete in friendly competitions, clubs, and a massive new collection of facilities, combos, teachers, students, and career pathways. Overall, in this title, there is just significantly more to manage on a day-to-day basis. It's going to keep you a lot more preoccupied than the average Kairosoft game, providing one of the most engaging gameplay experiences in a Kairosoft title to date. Pocket Academy 3 graduates to the S+ tier with a rating of 4.8. Landing in the 64th release is Jumbo Airport Story. Jumbo Airport Story is an airport simulation title, tasking you with managing an entire airport fleet and growing the expansion of the airport itself. Contract and negotiate with new airline companies to uncover new flight pathways to distant lands and bring on board new residents to visit your airport. Win over new customers by wowing them on their tours to the airport, putting your airport facilities, restaurants, and layout to the test. There's also additional planes that you can unlock by meeting certain requirements. Jumbo Airport Story sticks the landing in S tier with a score of 4.6. Unleashing the 65th release is Zoo Park Story. Zoo Park Story is Kairosoft's most recent animal-centric game, focused on building a bustling zoo that customers can visit to interact and play with the animal residents. Yes, you heard me right, the customers will be able to enter the animal enclosures in this game. Let's hope that the animals are friendlier than Dave. In this title, you will explore nearby biomes by going on exciting expeditions to uncover new animal species and a huge variety of items. Win over your next favorite zoo inhabitant by negotiating a hefty sum of food with them, and they will be frolicking in your zoo, allowing people to ride on their backs in no time. As you uncover new animals from these new biomes, you'll be able to discover scenery from these specific biomes to transform the terrain back in your zoo to these very unique landscapes. Zoo Park Story uncages a 4.4 rating, landing it in the A tier. Constructing the 66th release is Dreamtown Island. Dreamtown Island is an incredibly large-scale Kairosoft game, in which you oversee the operations of the development of an upcoming bustling metropolis filled with a huge variety of residents. This game has such an impressive catalogue of buildings, facilities, and combinations to uncover, and even an expansive crop discovery system which will be sure to keep every completionist occupied for multiple playthroughs. Dreamtown Island really shines with all the extra care and mechanics added to the residents that occupy it. You'll be able to watch as your residents grow up, find a partner to marry, find their dream job, get pets, have children together, and even move on to a let's say better place. But then their kids will grow up and continue to cycle and take over their place. The circle of life continues. Dreamtown Island rises into the S tier with a rating of 4.7. Brewing up the 67th release is Café Master Story. Café Master Story provides a unique spin on Kairosoft's hospitality game lineup by making the title focus on beverages rather than food. In this title, you will froth up and create your own unique menu of drinks, brainstorming brand new drink concoctions from combining multiple ingredients to produce a one-of-a-kind brew, and even set menus coupling your drink creations paired with food dishes. Café Master Story offers an intensive selection of drink recipes, allowing you to create the drink of your dreams. Finally, TT. Café Master Story blends up a solid 4.6 score, placing it in the S tier rank. Premiering in the 68th scheduled release is TV Studio Story. TV Studio Story is Kairosoft's most recent media producing game, with you calling the action and cut shots at your very own TV studio. This game in particular goes above and beyond the typical game dev-like gameplay we've seen in previous similar titles, by offering a brand new mechanic of being able to customize the set layout of your TV shows. This adds a whole new level of depth to the gameplay, as it is the first Kairosoft Studio production game similar to Game Dev Story to introduce a floor plan layout mechanic similar to Hot Spring Story. TV Studio Story is a great modern advancement for the gameplay of Kairosoft's first ever game released, and it is so much more than a reskinned Game Dev Story. TV Studio Story unveils its first episode with a solid 4.5 rating, placing it in the A tier. Unearthing the final 69th currently released Kairosoft game in English is Cavern Adventurers. Cavern Adventurers is a mixture of the 2D layout building gameplay we have seen in titles such as Mega Mall's Story with RPG elements we have seen in previous RPG entries. In this title, you'll be equipping your best mining helmet and pickaxe as you journey down numerous floors, vanquishing foes and pursuing vast amounts of treasure. As you venture deeper into the caverns, you'll be able to discover and build new facilities to expand your surface colony, encounter new staff that will help out with the Great Gold Rush, and uncover the secrets of cavern rooms that lurk deep below. Cavern Adventurers mines into the A tier with a rating of 4.3. And wow, what a journey that was. I have to admit, it was really amazing to revisit every Kairosoft game and see just how far they have come in the many years of developing quality simulation titles. This has got to be one of the most amazing aspects of Kairosoft as a whole. There are over 60 unique games ranging from managing cafe business, developing entire towns and cities, and also managing sports teams. There is just so much variety that there is bound to be a game catered to your personal hobbies that you will enjoy the most. Hopefully this gives you an idea of the entire Kairosoft games catalogue and helps you pick your next title or even your first one to play. Before we jump into the final rankings of my personal tier list adjustments, let's go over some interesting finds I found from the data I compiled. Without a doubt, the most surprising find I uncovered was using the App Store total ratings to gauge the popularity of game releases. For some reason, the iOS App Store ratings amounts were a lot lower than other stores. Apple might periodically wipe out old reviews for older versions, only categorize it per region, or even display reviews from the most recent version only, as the review numbers were incredibly low compared to Android and Steam, despite the App Store pages displaying that it has been available since their original release dates. So I'm glad I included data from all three of the major storefronts. Going into this video, without a doubt, I thought that Game Dev Story would easily clear as the most reviewed game, with it being their first release and one of their most recognizable IPs. Game Dev Story has a massive 79,083 reviews from the three stores combined as of this video being recorded. When I was reviewing the list data, I was shocked to see that the most popular game, based off of the review count, was gigantic in comparison, with over 3 times the amount of game reviews. Can you guess what Kairosoft title that was? Totaling a staggering 265,725 reviews was Dreamhouse Days. I mean, this game has 5 million downloads on Android alone, it's amazing. Another notable title was Beastie Bay with 45,654 reviews and over 1 million downloads on the Android App Store, similar to Game Dev Story's 1 million downloads. These two titles both had unique circumstances that attributed to their success, both being free-to-play titles with highly addicting and approachable gameplay. It's great to see that both of these titles now have modern DX remakes free of microtransactions, but it's fascinating reviewing their original game statistics. Interestingly enough, on the polar opposite side of the spectrum, the title with the least reviews is Thrift Store Story, with only 326 reviews, which also coincidentally has the lowest score of 2.8, being the only E-tier game. This game needs some love. And for my final statistic in this video, the combined average score of every Kairosoft release to this date is 4.2. This just goes to show how amazing their game library is. But don't worry, I will touch more on these statistics in a later video. But without any further delay, for my final thoughts in this video, I want to adjust the tier list to my own preference by adjusting some of the games I personally enjoyed more than others. As I am still working through reviewing each title individually on my channel with currently 11 complete reviews, I will be sure to revisit this list after finishing every review on the channel, but for now, let's jump in. Overall, I am pretty satisfied with the community rating tier list, but there are some glaring changes that I would like to adjust for my own personal tier list. There are a couple of games that definitely deserve to move to the S+ tier, namely Dreamtown Island and Tropical Resort Story. I think these are the best games that Kairosoft have ever made. Next up, I am seeing some games that are criminally underrated. I'm going to bump up Pool Slide Story to S tier, after Burger Bistro Story, with Hot Spring Story 2 and its predecessor following after it, and also moving World Cruise Story from B tier to the end of S tier. I thought this game was rated very harshly. Next up, I feel like the original Pocket Academy Adventure Towns could also be moved up on the list, so let's place them at the start of A tier. I'm also going to drop down 2 entries from S to A, being Skyforce Unite and Cafe Master Story. A couple more titles advancing to the S tier is Ninja Village, Sushi Spinnery, and Shiny Ski Resort. Next up, I'm going to have to bump up Pocket Harvest to A tier, and bring Edo Towns down to the top of B tier. Overall, I think this is a solid point for the list so far. I'm happy with these standings and I think they are a really solid indication of the Kairosoft games and their ratings. What do you think about my positionings of the games? If you have your own opinions, feel free to download the tier list and let me know what you would adjust. Overall, the rankings provided by the ratings were a great baseline which can be followed for your next Kairosoft favorite title. My adjustments for my personal Kairosoft tier list mainly had some of my favorite layout based games bump up a couple of tiers, as the layout customizing games are my absolute favorite Kairosoft titles. Keep in mind, this is my personal tier list with my own favorite game ratings. Not everyone is going to agree with my personal picks, so if you have any adjustments you would make, please let me know in the comments. I would love to see what your favorite titles are. Coming into this video, I had the idea that Pocket Academy 3, Dreamtown Island, and Tropical Resort were my favorite 3 titles, and I think they will be my favorite games to recommend in the S+ tier for quite some time due to their massive amount of content to uncover, sheer replayability, and overall amazing features that have helped propel modern Kairosoft games into a new standard. If you made it all the way to this part in the video, I want to personally thank you for sticking around and supporting my largest YouTube video project to date. You are a true Wow It's Bow fan and I can't thank you enough. Hopefully this video gave you some insight into some Kairosoft titles you may not have known about, and it might even be useful for finding the next game you want to play. So feel free to revisit this video if you want to learn about a particular title before purchasing it. What did you think of the community rating tier list and my personal picks for the tier list? In the description of this video, I have included the data spreadsheet that I compiled from all 3 storefronts alongside a tier list maker template if you want to give your own tier list a crack. And as always, a massive thank you to the Kairosoft wiki and Discord. This video wouldn't have been possible without you guys. The last thank you goes out to Kairosoft for producing so many quality titles after all these years. We love all the games and look forward to every next one. And if you're wanting to stay in the know with the Wow It's Bow community, join our Discord so you can see upcoming video releases and even vote for future videos. Thank you so much again for watching the channel and helping support it grow. This has really become a dream come true for me, and I can't wait to show you all of my future upcoming videos. So be sure to leave the video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe so you don't miss out on those new releases. As always, have a good one and I'll catch you in the next one.